MarciaGrace here. It's Friday. Your miracle mastery mentor, and I am excited today to talk about something that I heard this morning. This is usually how I get my um, inspiration is I listen to the radio or I talk to someone or I meet someone in the street or wherever, and that's how it happens. So anyway, today I'm listening on the radio to a segment on NPR that's called StoryCorps, and this young man, his name was Brunell. I did not get his last name. He was talking about something, and I'll tell you what he said. He said. He said something that just struck me so um, so strongly, and that was he said they say you only live once, but that's not true. You only die once, but you live every day. And he says because we have every day we have each day, it's a gift that we should return by doing whatever it is that we can to make the world a better place. So this really made a lot of sense to me, and I wanted very much to talk about this because there's a great gift not only to the people who receive it from us, but to ourselves. For when we do things for other people, we help in the world, right? We help around us. So so this is kind of the nature of what I want to talk about because uh, what he did was he and his mom were having this conversation on this story core, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and they were talking about Katrina and how it destroyed their um, town. The Ninth Ward was just decimated by that horrible, horrible hurricane, and he was absolutely driven to help his community by opening a supermarket. And he did it, and he did it by himself. I mean, he really had basically, he didn't go into great details in the story. I'm sure you can get more information if you go to the actual podcast. But in any case, he did that because he knew his community. I mean, people had to take buses and all kinds of buses to get to a supermarket to just buy food, because there was nothing, nothing, nothing in their community. And so he did that, and over the years, I think he started some other businesses in his ward, and so he and his mother were talking because that's what StoryCorps is all about. It's a conversation between usually two people, and they're talking about something that's of a nature uh, that helps us understand where other people who may not be like us, maybe they're not in the same situation, but when we get to hear their stories, we get to find out what life is like for them, and to have more compassion perhaps and more understanding, because there's nothing greater than understanding. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance does not help. Ignorance keeps us from loving and appreciating each other. So the only way we can truly appreciate one another is by listening and talking and sharing with one another. And that's what this StoryCorps idea is all about. They're just celebrating their 20th anniversary on doing the podcast, and I think that's really exciting. So you can get it as a podcast. It's StoryCorps, Corps, Corpse, StoryCorps, um, and wonderful, wonderful stories that'll just make your heart swell with joy. So this led me to, and then on top of that, I was reading my Course in Miracles lesson this morning, and there was a line that struck me, and it said, "Let all appearances seem pure to us." Now, part of the problem that we have with understanding each other or talking to each other and helping other people is because we don't understand them, and because we have ideas. have beliefs, we have I don't know what you want to call them. We have fixed notions in our minds about who this person might be or what they're where they're coming from or whatever, and we don't even hear what they're saying. We don't hear it. So, so this is something that when we say, when this lesson says, "Let all appearances seem pure to us," if we imagine that we could start off with no preconceived notions when we meet someone, imagine that. No preconceived notions, no ideas about who I think this person is, and I just listen with my spiritual ears, I will hear something perhaps entirely different than I probably would have before. So, so that's really such an important aspect to this idea of being helpful. Because how do you, when you're being helpful, um, it's because you have compassion for whoever it is that you're helping. And so, um, so you know, you want to be there for them in whatever capacity you can. Let me give you an example. For instance, I was talking to a neighbor a couple of days ago, and she mentioned that her neighbor across the street has to move, and she has an older cat that she cannot take with her. And she's heartbroken about it, but that's what happens in life sometimes. And so she's telling me this story, and my little wheels are turning, and I'm thinking, oh wow, I know someone, because I can't, my Claudia, forget about it, she would never put up with another cat in the house. So so I couldn't do it, but I said, I know someone who's a cat rescuer. I mean, this woman is beyond belief. I mean, she her whole way purpose in being is to help cats survive and be and thrive. So I said, I'm going to connect her to this friend of mine, and maybe she can find a home for this kitty. So that was my way of helping in the moment, right? I went over there, I met the kitty, I got some information, I shared it with my cat rescuer friend, and now we're going to see what happens. Okay, so that was one way I could be helpful. And you know something? There's something so rewarding about helping someone right in your neighborhood, in your own, open the door, knock on your neighbor's door if you don't know them, and say hello. Say, if you ever need anything, hey, I'm just a couple of steps away. Um, some people live in a house for years and years and they don't even know their next door neighbor. And, for the life of me, I can't understand that. I don't get it. I walk down the streets, and especially if you're a walker, and which is great exercise, and we should all walk if we can. You meet the neighbors because they're out mowing the lawn, or they're talking to somebody, or they're picking some litter off the ground, or whatever they're doing, or they're out walking their dogs, and you meet people and you start conversations and you get to know these people sometimes on an intimate level. You make new friends. I mean, it's just it's a wonderful thing. I walk down my streets and I say every neighbor I see, I say hello because I know who they are and they know me. So, and I know that if I needed something, I could call on these people and they'd be there in a heartbeat. So that's a nice thing too, right? It's nice to know you live in a neighborhood where people care about you and where you care about them, right? So that really is my message today, because um, there are other ways. Of course, I saw this article, and as I said, I'm always looking for stuff. And here was this Long Island Ally Food Banks getting help. So here's this little article about food banks and how people who work in companies, the companies are sending their people over to help in these food banks, to package up food and take it to places like Long Island Cares, where people who need the food can come and get their packages. So there's just so many. I mean, there's so many ways you can help in your neighborhood, and know that you are making a difference. I mean, that just, like I said, it fills you up. It fills you up, and you will be floating on a cloud after you do just the slightest, simplest thing, like just giving a neighbor a phone number. For the other thing I gave this neighbor was the phone number of someone who does estate sales, and maybe she can help her sell the things that she's not taking with her. So I mean, just simple little things. I just there are endless things, and I'm sure you can figure that out. But think about it and see how you can do that, because everybody wins under these circumstances. You win because you've done something wonderful. It makes you feel good, and the person that you helped has been benefited, so they win. It's a win-win situation. So, and guess what? It removes stress, right? I'm always talking about stress. I forgot I didn't even use the word today yet. So, uh, absolutely, one of the best ways to remove stress from your life is to be helpful to other people. So by doing that, because you're thinking about them. You're not thinking about me. I'm not about me and my problems and what I'm blah 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 and all that yakety yakety yak and stuff. But it's about what can I do for that person, and then you're using your creative juices. Helps you mentally. I mean, the benefits are incredible. So and the stress level goes way down because there's no stress when you're helping another person. All right. So that's my message for today. But what I also want to say is please join me on Monday for my little free class that I'm giving. It's a series of three more, there are three more classes to go. 10 traits of spiritually successful people. So if you want to know the 10 traits of spiritually successful people, and you know what being spiritually successful means? It means that all the bases are covered, right? Because when you're spiritually successful, it means that your mind is in sync with your body and with your words, your thoughts, your deeds. Everything is moving together so that you are um, being the most useful, happy, joyous, abundant person you can possibly be, right? So tune in on Monday night, Eastern Time at 7 p.m. If I will put the link in the comments below, and you can, which it's very quick, it's very easy. It's tinyurl slash .com, tinyurl.com slash mg join 10 traits. Okay. And I'll put it below. So that's happening, and please come and join us. We have fun. I talk a little bit about the traits, um, or three of them anyway, this week, and then we have a Q&A. So it's about under an hour, under an hour, and I think you'll gain a lot of perspective, if nothing else, from it. So I hope you can join us. And as I always say, please keep your, notice your thoughts, right? Because I always say everything begins with a thought. So notice those thoughts so that you can get rid of the ones that are causing you distress. All right. Have a beautiful weekend and week ahead. Until next time, many blessings. Bye bye for now.